Hi everyone, welcome back to my Flosstube. My name is Rachel, this is Lemonade Stitching, and today is my April 2025 wrap-up. I cannot believe it is already May. I don't know where the time has gone. It is wild to me. I feel like the year just started and we're almost halfway through, but nevertheless, I have lots of exciting cross-stitch to share with you guys today. I worked on lots of projects in this past month. I think I got total about 11,000 stitches in, so pretty good month, especially because there were several days where I just was too busy or didn't feel like stitching. I had a couple final projects to turn in this month for grad school, so it was just all in all a busy month, but I'm excited to show you guys everything that I worked on. I've got it all in my stitchy bag right here, so I think we're just going to jump on in, and I'm actually going to save my finishes for the end of this video and do them after my whips because there's some good segues in there to some other things that I want to talk about related to cross stitching. So my first project that I have to pull out is Cherish Dreams by Leisure Arts, and this is an old Leisure Arts leaflet and it's stunning. I was really excited to work on this. I actually started this during the Lindy Stitches Nash Stash event in March. I think that was, yeah, in March, end of March, and I didn't get a ton of progress on this. I put in 747 stitches this month, and if I'm being honest, I'm not loving it. I don't know if I'm just not liking the process, if I don't like stitching on this fabric. I don't know what the issue is, but I'm just not having a great time. I'm sitting in a chair today instead of on the bed, so I feel like all discombobulated. But this is where my progress is right now. Like I said, I didn't add much. But yeah, I just was not having a very good time, so I put this away, and I think I showed that upside down. I think it actually goes this way. I don't know, I just wasn't having a good time, so I put it away, and I'll pick it up again some other time and see if I'm feeling better about it or if I'm gonna UFO it. The colors are stunning. I want to show you guys the colors. I put them on like floss cards. See if I can get a good. Can you tell I haven't filmed in over a month and I'm out of practice? Oh my goodness. The colors are stunning. I don't know. Something about it was not enjoyable. So we'll see. I started it. That was my only goal for the year, was to start it. So at least I did that, I guess. We're starting on a really high note today for this video. I promise it gets better. This next one is much better than Cherish Dreams. I'm having a much better time stitching it. And this is My Flowers by Boomerang Stitches. This was another start that I had during the Lindy Stitches Nash Stash Start-a-thon back in March, and if you're not familiar with the pattern, it's stunning, and it's also really easy to pick your own colors for. So I am stitching this with some Dinky dies that I got from a Miss Die pack at Christmas time, and I'm stitching it on 36 count Dunes by Fiber on a Whim, and this is my progress. So I hope all the colors are showing up on here okay. The pink I think is hard to see on camera, but I promise you can see it in person. But I've got my stems in for all 6 flowers. The 3 on the left side are done, and then it's just the one in the middle that I need to finish, and then add the flower portions, and then I'll be done. So I think this is past the 50% mark now. Sorry, I've got my laptop back here with all my answers. It's 64% complete, and I got about 1,200 stitches in April. So a good little chunk of progress on my flowers, and I'm really excited to finish this. My whip list is up to 12 whips, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it's a lot for me. And I'm like, I need to get rid of some of these. I need, not get rid of them, but like finish them and move on to the next thing, because there's just too many for me to be comfortable. But it's okay. Here's my colors for my flowers. I've got this on this old like DMC horse floss holder, and they're so pretty. Oh, I love them. Dinky dyes are very fluffy, but they have the most beautiful shine because they're silk, and overall it's just been a really good experience stitching with them. My next whip to talk about is Baldaquin Birdies by Modern Folk Embroidery. This is their 2025 stitch along, and I am stitching this on 40 count flax linen with Gentle Arts Witching Hour, and I am up to 31% complete, and I put in 1,400 stitches in April, so not quite my goal. I don't know what my goal is, but I was stitching on lots of other things, so I wasn't too worried about my monthly goal for this project. But here is the progress. This is coming out absolutely amazing. I love it. I was worried at first when I started it that I wasn't happy with my choices, but now that I'm making a good amount of progress, I am obsessed. I think the colors are perfect, and I actually started my first bird. So there he is, so cute, but I'm loving it. This has been my travel piece actually, which is surprising because it's 40 count, but I keep my booklight in this project bag. Oops, I'm throwing stuff. I keep my booklight in this project bag, and it just clips right on my hoop if I'm in the airport or on a plane or in like a poorly lit hotel room, and it makes it really easy to stitch on the go, and I only have to worry about bringing one skein of floss, and I don't know, even though it's like a large project, I think it's pretty easy to travel with, and it helps me reach my goal. I was actually on a trip a couple weeks ago, and I thought I was going to get a ton of progress on this, but I ended up, my back was like acting up, so I was just too uncomfortable to get much stitching in, or else I would have been farther along. But all in all, I'm very happy with my progress on this so far. I love how it's turning out, and I'm excited to continue working on it throughout the rest of the year. The next project that I pulled out was a little surprising. I am sure none of you are expecting this because it was April, but I actually pulled out Celtic Noel by Lavender and Lace. I just needed to switch it up, and I was like, you know what? This will be a good one to get some progress in. I'm currently working on the skirt where it's just, you can kind of focus on one color and take it all the way down. And I just needed to switch up what was in my whip basket. So I pulled this out, and I ended up just getting like 750 stitches in, not a ton, but a good amount to kind of switch up what I was working on. So this is my current progress on Celtic Noel. Try to give you the full view here, and then I'll zoom in on the skirt where I've been working and just taking all this red down. It's coming out amazing. I love this one as well, and I'm stitching this on a 28 count Lugana. I assume it's just the called for Lugana, but this was a gift. I was gifted the whip after it was started, so I'm not sure exactly how much or what the name of the fabric is, but I do know it's 28 count, and it's like a light brown, so it's probably the call for. For this one, honestly, I'm really just excited to finish the stitching so I can pull out the beads, because since I was gifted the whip, I've got them in here ready to go, and every time I move the bag I hear the beads, and I'm like, they're just calling my name. I just want to put them on the project so bad. So I'm excited to get to the point where I can add the beads. My next whip is called Modern Pop Art Strawberry by Box and Fox. And this is another one that I haven't worked on in a minute, but I pulled it out to take on one of my trips this past month because, again, I was like, it's pretty easy. I'm actually stitching this on Aida. It's only got a few colors, so it'll be nice to switch it up from working on Baldaquin Birdies, which I've stitched on for several trips now this year. And I ended up getting a whopping 540 stitches put in on this. Like I said, I was hurt on my last trip, so I was too uncomfortable to get much stitching in, but I did get a good amount of stitches on our travel day. So this is Modern Pop Art Strawberry. I worked on filling in this corner strawberry and then starting to extend the leaves down. And I've got a super cute little strawberry needle minder on here that I made out of an enamel pin. So, Modern Pop Art Strawberry, just 18 count white Aida. And I'm stitching this with 2 strands of DMC so that it's really, really full coverage and really pops. I don't have solid plans for this as a finish. It'd be cute as a project bag, but it's kind of small, so I might do it as a panel in a project bag. It might also be a fun like framed finish for my office as like a cute little wall art something or other. Not too sure, but we have a ways to go before this one is complete anyway. So I did have several new starts this month, and one of which is The Bride by Lavender and Lace. And I chose to start this month because it is officially 6 months to my wedding. I'm getting married on October 17th of this year, so I started this piece on April 17th to mark that 6-month countdown to the wedding. So I'm really excited to stitch this. I will say it's a lot of white. I know it's a lot of white. I thought I was gonna not care. Care a little bit. It's a little more boring to stitch than I anticipated, so it's slow going. I think I only put in like 900 stitches, but I am continuing on. At first when I started it, I was like, I'm gonna stitch 3,000 stitches a month, I'm gonna get it done by the wedding, and now I don't think that's gonna happen, but never say never. Crazier things have happened. But anyway, I don't have 3,000 stitches worth, but I'm doing it based on like the 17th to the 17th and not the first day to the last day of the month. So there's still time. I think I have 10 days left from filming this. And so if I just do 200 stitches a day, dang, that's my first 3,000 stitch goal. We'll see. But anyway, here's my progress so far on The Bride by Lavender and Lace. I'm stitching this 2/2 on 32 count linen. This is the called for linen, but I didn't write down what it was called. So I'm really prepared today, I promise. Let's see if I have the tag in here. Just 32 count natural light linen from 123 Stitch. It was just whatever they had in the list to order. My fiance bought this for me as a Christmas gift, so I was like, just click add all to cart and it'll be fine. So this is The Bride. I did a center start. This is a fat quarter of fabric, and it won't take quite the whole fat quarter, but I'm not 100% sure how I'm gonna frame it, if I'm gonna do a close frame, large frame, whatever. So I figured I'll just use the whole fat quarter, I'll do a center start, and then it'll give me options for framing in the future. Eventually, since this is like a sentimental piece for the wedding, I think I will get this professionally framed in a nice frame, pick it out together with my fiance. But we have a ways to go before we're ready for that. Another new start that I had this past month was a gift for a friend, and I'm gonna put up a picture of the chart because it's one of those Etsy charts that doesn't have like a good name, but basically it is a cross-stitch needlepoint version of the 2018 Caddy Gnome from the Masters. And so she texted me while the Masters were on TV. She's a big golf fan, big sports fan in general, and she's like, can you please stitch this for me if I send you the chart? And I said, absolutely, girl, just let me know. So she purchased the chart and had me stitch it for her because she doesn't do stitching. So I stitched this for her, and one of my friends and her roommate helped me pick out like the fabric and stuff, and I stitched this gnome on some 28 count green linen. He's a little scary looking, to be honest. Honestly, I'm really excited with how it's showing up on camera because in person it's kind of hard to tell the difference between like his shirt and his beard and his face, because of the dark background, but it looks like it's showing up okay on camera. But yeah, he's a cutie little gnome. I have him matted on 5x7 mat board and just laced in the back so that she can pop him in whatever frame she wants, and it'll go in her office, I think. But yeah, I just stitched him up. It took me like 3 days, super quick. I stitched it in hand, and I'm proud of how it came out. This was just like a 12x12 scrap that I got on Facebook D-Stash a while back for like $5, so I'm glad I was able to find a good use for it. And overall, I think he came out cute. I did add some back stitching that was not called for. I think I did it, let's see, around his nose and his cheeks and his fingers, just because, again, like the contrast doesn't really show up as well as it does in the cover photo, because it's just one of those like virtual renderings of the stitching. But overall, she's really happy. I sent photos, and of course I'm gonna be my biggest critic, so I'm gonna, you know, be picking out the flaws, but she's just excited to have a little piece of the masters in her office. Okay, this next section, I was going back and forth on if I was going to show these starts and finishes or if I was gonna wait, because this month I actually did my gift stitching for StitchCon. I'm not gonna participate in the smalls exchange this year, but I did want to stitch some little gifts for my besties who will be there and who I'm going with. So I did all their stitching this month. They're not fully finished yet, but I thought I'm too excited about them, so I'm gonna show them. I haven't shown any of the girls. Actually, that's a lie. I told Maddie and Elizabeth what I was doing, but I haven't shown anybody like the actual finished products yet. So if you're one of my girlfriends, or if you're gonna watch any of their videos from StitchCon and you want to be surprised, skip ahead a few minutes because I'm gonna show what I'm gifting them. If you want to know, awesome, I'm gonna tell you because I'm so excited with how they came out. But this was your warning, this was your spoiler warning. Skip ahead a few minutes and finish out the video because I'm talking surprises. Okay, so for my table gifts this year, you may remember I stitched myself Rosemary Pinkeep, and I added an H for my, what's gonna be my married last name, and I was just so obsessed with how this came out. I wanna turn it into a bag charm. I think it's so cute. And I was like, you know, this was only like 600 something stitches. It was pretty quick to do. And I'm kind of in my bag charm era right now, which you wouldn't be able to tell. There's not a single charm on my bag, but like mentally I'm in a bag charm era. And all my girlfriends are in their bag charm era. We're getting little, you know, bits and bobs for our stitching bags. We all have matching Lands' End totes now for the most part. So bag charm galore. So I was like, that is gonna be my stitching gift, my table gift for StitchCon. So I made all of the girls, including Megan, even though she can't be at StitchCon, their own bag charms. So I was trying to decide what colors to do, and I ended up doing different colors for everybody because I wanted them to really fit their vibes. And so I'm just gonna go through them one by one. And also, instead of last names, I did first initials instead of last name initials. So I need something to hold them up because they're so little. I'll just use this chart. So first up we have Megan's. And so for Megan, I used a dark green and like a teal aqua blue. And these are all stitched on the same 36 count color and cotton. It's just like a no name neutral fabric. Because again, I wanted them to coordinate, I wanted them to match, but still be unique to each person. So I stitched hers with a dark green and a teal and put an M in the center for Megan. And then Bridget, I did the same green, but I used one of her favorite colors of DMC for the flowers in the initial. And then Cam and Marjorie also got matching greens, but again, different color flowers for everybody. And so these are two of Cam's favorite DMC colors. And of course, I didn't look before I showed them to you guys, so I'll have to put them on the screen, the colors that I used for everybody. But I was actually lucky enough that Cam and Bridget made a video at Market saying their exact favorite DMC colors, so it made it really easy to pick their flosses. But anyway, so here's Cam's. This is like a yucky green and a kind of more electric purpley color, and that is exactly what she loves, so I hope she loves the actual charm. And then Marjorie has, again, the same yucky green, but an electric hot pink. Very Marjorie. I feel like I captured everyone's essence pretty good. I'm pretty proud of how they came out. And then the last two for Elizabeth and Maddie, again, their greens match, but they have different flower colors. Elizabeth has a pretty light lavender purple color. And Maddie has a hot pink, but not as like electric hot pink as Marjorie's. And so the first week of April, these were all I stitched on. I was just knocking them out one after the other. But I got them all done in like 5 or 6 days, which was awesome. And now they've just been sitting in my basement waiting patiently to get fully finished. I am making custom cording for each one in the colors of their stitching. And if you need a good tutorial for that, I'm using Tiger Lily's. Carrie from Tiger Lily Designs, her tutorial. I've used it before. It works great. And I'm just so excited to gift these. It takes so much self-control to not talk about them and send photos and everything, but they came out so good. And we're all going to be like coordinating, but not exactly matching, because we're all different, you know? We've all got different personalities and interests and whatever. Obviously shared interest as well, but I'm just happy that I was able to make these for all of my besties. So these are coming. The pattern's by Blackbird Designs. I don't know if I mentioned that. I love Blackbird Designs, so I was like, sorry guys, it's gonna have to be Blackbird because they're my favorite. Okay, my last project for April is a segue into haul. Like I said, I recently took a trip. You may have seen it in a short that I posted, but I went to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I got the chance to visit the Crossstitch cupboard and do a little bit of shopping. Not too much, because I'm not supposed to be buying things this year, but that ship has sailed, and it turned into I'm buying minimal things and I'm shopping in person at LNS's when I have the opportunity. So anyway, I shopped at the Crossstitch cupboard, got lots of good things that I'm going to show you, but one of them was a little Mill Hill kit, and it's called the Snail. I was going to show you the cover photo, but it doesn't really matter because I already finished it, and this is how it came out. So cute. It's got a magnet on the back, and I love it. It's so cutie. I'm gonna put him up in my office to remember the trip. It was a work trip, so it feels appropriate that he'll go on my desk. And he came out so cutie, and lots of beads too. I really haven't done many Mill Hill kits. This is only the second one I've done, but they're so fun and so easy. I posted a video, I think on Instagram. I don't remember if I posted it on YouTube or not, but I was trying to do like a start a Mill Hill kit with me, and it was so chaotic because I wasn't feeling well. I was hungry for lunch. I was rushing, and so it's more of a how not to start a Mill Hill. Like, I didn't separate my floss. I drew my X on the wrong side of the paper. It was a disaster, but I still posted the video anyway, so check that out if you need a little laugh or something. But he came out cute regardless of the mistakes I made when trying to start it. The rest of my haul is in this cutie purple plastic bag. And if you've never been to the Crossstitch cupboard before, it's not a huge store, but it is fantastic and incredible. And something I did not know about them is they actually sell a lot of vintage and out of print charts. They accept donations from stitchers or stitchers who have passed, and they sell their stash, but they don't sell it for like marked up you know, like eBay prices. They actually were selling most of them for like the cover, like list prices on the leaflets or whatever it may be, which I really respected a lot, that they weren't trying to mark up the patterns and make a huge profit, and they were keeping the prices fair and keeping the patterns accessible for future stitchers to enjoy. So that really, I was like, well, now I definitely have to look through the whole store. I was just gonna stop in quick, get a chart or two, maybe a piece of fabric, and be done with it. But I was like, well, now I have to spend an hour. I have to go through every bin and see what I can find. So that's what I did. First up, they had an Erica Michaels trunk show while I was there. So I got Anna Funk by Erica Michaels. I think Cam and Bridget are planning on starting this at some point this year if they haven't already. And so I will be joining in. I am obsessed with this sampler. I think it's so fun and funky, but I wasn't originally gonna join because I was like, well, I can't go shopping, I can't buy it, but now I can. So eventually I will be starting this. I might buy threads for it at StitchCon. We'll see. I don't know when they're starting it, so I'll have to wait and see. But what I really want to do is wait until I go back to the Color and Cotton store in July, hopefully, and buy Color and Cottons. So TBD on when this will get started, but it's definitely coming because it's so cute. And then other like current charts that are not vintage and out of print is Birds of a Feather by Blackbird Designs. They only had a couple blackbirds in stock, and this was one of them, but I like this chart, so obviously I got it. The blackbird bin was actually the first place I looked, because I was like, well, if I don't get anything else, I can just get one blackbird and be done with it. But obviously I got more than one chart. Okay, next up I got 4 vintage charts in addition to the Mill Hill kit. The first one is a Better Homes and Gardens leaflet, and it's called Whitework Elegance, and this was only $1. So I'll give you the full view, but because it's a white on white sampler, you're not really gonna be able to see it. But it's a little monochromatic sampler moment, and it's got specialty stitches in it, and I was like, this is so fun, and it was only $1. How could I pass it up? So I don't know if I'll do white on white or if I'll do a different monochromatic situation, but I thought it was really sweet, so I got it. I also got a Mill Hill little booklet pamphlet, and it's called Pastel Borders and Beads. And so here is the full cover, and then here is close up. So it's got a big beaded sampler and then a couple of smalls to go along with it. So I think eventually this will be really fun to stitch. I don't know if I'll do a sampler, if I'll do little accessories. I don't really know. I don't have any plans other than to eventually stitch it. All right, 2 more. I got a Leisure Arts stocking, and this is called Round the Tree. I hope it's as pink as it looks because it's so cute. I love the background, I love the tree, I love the whole thing. I love the ruffles. So this had to get added to stash. I never wanted to stitch a stocking until I saw this. And then the last one, which I don't know that I'll ever stitch it, but it was so fun, I couldn't pass it up. It is the Country Store Favorite Trademarks, Signs, and Logos by Cynthia Poole. It's a country cross-stitch magazine booklet, and it's got just vintage logos. And I was like, how fun. It's got like carnation milk and Lay's potato chips, and arguably the best logo in here is the Keebler elf. That's really what sold me on the booklet, was seeing the Keebler elf. I was like, okay, fine, I'll get it. So that is my newest stash addition. I love it. Even if I don't stitch it, I just like looking at it. It brings me joy. That is all of my haul, but I do have one other piece of stitching to talk about, and that is my whip exchange project that I'm doing with my friends Bridget, the museum stitcher, Elizabeth from Fizzy Lizzy Stitches, and Cam from Cam the Stitcher. And basically, in a nutshell, if you haven't seen any of our recent videos, we all have some projects that we don't love working on but really want progress on. So we are doing a little round robin exchange, and kind of donating stitches to one another to work on our friends' projects and return them with like 6,000 more stitches than they had when we started. So I finished Elizabeth's section and I sent that off to Cam, and now I have Bridget's project and I haven't put any stitches in yet. I was waiting to film this so I could show you guys where we're starting. But she is doing the bookcase by Galliana Crossstitch. I think that's how you say it. And again, I'm unprepared. I don't remember the fabric this is on. I don't remember anything. Let's see if she told me. She's got this cutie little case in here. Oh, it's a thread bed. I'm gonna have to ask her if she made this or if somebody else made it because it's awesome. Sybil found the plastic bag, so I apologize for that. Yeah, I have no idea what fabric this is on. It's on Bridget's channel, it's on Elizabeth's channel. I will figure it out and I will put it in the description and on the screen. But anyway, we are restarting the bookcase for Bridget. If you haven't watched her videos, you definitely need to check them out. But basically, she started the bookcase and she's doing an amazing color conversion. But she started it 2/2 on this 36 count and she just is not happy with it. She doesn't like stitching 2/2. It's not her vibe, but she didn't want to give up these 6,000 stitches that she's done and rip them all out and have to restitch the whole thing. So we are restarting it for her. This is the progress that Elizabeth made. We did like a center top start. I hope the color is showing up this fabric well because it's stunning. But we're doing a center top start and we're gonna put about 2,000 stitches each, and essentially we should be able to restitch everything that Bridget had already stitched. So then when she gets it back, she can just continue on from this point and do the rest of the chart. So this new side is only 1/2, and this is Color and Cotton Black Walnut. And this is actually a really good example of the difference between 1/2 stitching and 2/2. Because they're the same colors, the same fabric, but you can kind of see the difference in how like intense the stitches are. So in case you were curious. But yeah, we're stitching it on the same piece of fabric. There's just enough room. And this is where Elizabeth got to. And I'm excited to start stitching on this maybe even today. I am going out of town again. I like cannot stop traveling the last couple months. But my sister is graduating from college this weekend. So I'm going out of town for that, but then once I get back, it is full steam ahead. I need to finish my section by StitchCon, so I have just over a month, and I don't want to risk traveling with this and losing it. This would be a good travel piece if it was my own, but I'm not risking that, so I am just going to leave this at home, and it'll be waiting for me to come back. But I'm excited to work on it. I've been waiting patiently. When she first showed her color conversion on her channel, I was obsessed with it and I was like, should I stitch that? But it's a huge piece. I was like, no, I shouldn't. So I'm excited that I get to stitch a little bit of it without having to stitch all like, I don't know, thousands. I think probably 25,000 stitches, if I remember correctly. It's a big one. It's on my iPad, I'd have to go look. But I'm excited to put a little piece of myself in Bridget's stitching and get to say that I've stitched the bookcase, and then just admire her work from afar until it's done. That is everything I got up to in the month of April, and technically the first couple days of May, but the snail was too cute to not include in this video. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you're not already, please go follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to me on here to see what I am staying up to. I'm trying to up my Instagram game and my like short content game. See if I can come up with some fun little video ideas. I'm chronically online, chronically on TikTok, so it shouldn't be that hard, but for some reason it is. But anyway, I really enjoyed getting to hang out with you all today. Thank you for spending some time with me. I hope you got a lot of stitching in or whatever it is you're working on, and I will see you all in my next video.